Welcome back. We're here in Las Vegas, just hours away now from the third presidential debate. Here's a look inside the debate hall where Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump will meet face-to-face for the last time before Election Day. Hillary Clinton is far ahead in most polls, despite recent revelations gleaned from the hacked emails of her campaign chairman, John Podesta. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has been very active on the campaign trail, again, touting his claim that November's election could be rigged. Trump senior advisor, AJ Delgado, joins me now. Good to see you, AJ.
Good to see you, Vlad.
All right, so let's talk about this. Donald Trump has been trailing in the polls, and going into this third and final debate, he's been on the campaign trail talking about the rigged election. There are now bipartisan Republicans and Democrats saying, look, media bias is one thing, and the campaign has alleged that, and others have done that in the past, but suggesting that our American democracy is somehow rigged, when other countries in the rest of the world look to us to be the beacon of how to conduct these elections, why is he still saying those things?
Well, I think when he speaks of the voter angle in reference to the rigged remarks, it's more about the opportunity for these things to happen. In that sense, the system is rigged, not that it's actually going to be rigged in this election. And we have seen historically that election fraud does occur. We saw it in the 1960 presidential election. We saw it in a 1997 mayor election in Miami where they had to overturn the results because of 5,000 fraudulent absentee ballots. It does occur. It is a concern, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, and he's just bringing this to light and asking for us to have a vigilant, proper process and to keep an eye out. That's all. I think everybody should applaud and understand that.
But to your point about when there have been indications of those types of misdoings, there have been very strict and very swift reprisals for any kind of that kind of fraud. And I don't think that there's any proof that says that, for example, he's talked about the number of people that are dead or that are deceased. Certainly there are deceased people on the voting rolls, but the suggestion that dead people were voting in a presidential election and that can actually shift the election is one that he says without any proof.
Well, it happened in 1960. This actually did happen, and it did sway the election, and there were no repercussions. People just kind of looked the other way because some of these things, some of this broader election fraud is hard to prove, or we only find out about it years later, as we did the 1960 election. So I think there is a point to be made that, listen, he's not saying it's definitely going to happen, but there's nothing wrong with being vigilant and discussing that this does happen, it could happen. Let's do our best to make sure it doesn't.
All right, let me play a little bit of sound for you. Kellyanne Conway, as you know, Trump's campaign manager, she appeared on MSNBC this morning, and she was asked about voter fraud. I want to play that for you.
Going to the polls in this country, do you believe there will be widespread voter fraud?
No, I do not believe that. So absent overwhelming evidence that there is, it would not be for me to say that there is. We know in the past, we know that people who are dead are still in the voter rolls. We know that people are voting a couple of different times and places. So you do hear reports here and there. But I think Donald Trump's point is a larger one. You don't want me to talk about the other stuff, but he does, there is a larger conspiracy, larger collusion. We're learning just from revealed emails and FOIA requests. There is a great deal of, there is a great deal of friendship, if not collusion, from some members of the media, certainly not all or not even most, but some specific members of the media and the Clinton campaign. And
so there you have Kellyanne Conway saying she doesn't believe it's widespread. Donald Trump has also suggested to his supporters that they should go to the voting booths and to some of these places and watch over what happens. I don't know what that means. What does he mean by that?
Well, just poll watching, which is applauded when it's done in other countries. As long as nobody is being intimidating or acting in an inappropriate fashion, something Mr. Trump would completely not condone, then that's okay. What's wrong with more eyes and ears to ensure that the process plays out the way it's supposed to?
All right. Let's talk about this because Melania Trump was recently interviewed on CNN, and that's why it's still the news cycle. I know a lot of people who support Donald Trump say, why is the media still talking about these sexual allegations? The campaign just put forward Melania Trump to talk about that and to address it. Ivanka Trump has been talking about it. How is Donald Trump expected tonight, do you think, if he's asked about it? What do you think he'll say?
I think he's going to try to pivot away for it, or I hope he will try to pivot from it, because we want a debate that's focused on the issues. And Mr. Trump knows that he does well when he focuses on the issues, when he talks about immigration, about jobs, about trade. That's when the American public says, this is my champion, and his numbers go up. So we hope we don't have to address this tonight. We've spent so much time on it as it is. And yeah, we brought out Melania to discuss it. She wanted to come out and address this. Obviously, she's been impacted by this. But we hope that now that she's come out and and said, listen, it was offensive, I've forgiven him, let's move on. We can all move on and really get back to focusing on the issues.
There are reports that Trump did a little debate prep. That was different than what he has done in the past. He, in the past, has said he didn't like the traditional type of debate prep, but there are reports that Reince Priebus, the chairman of the RNC, played the moderator, and that Chris Christie played Hillary Clinton. Can you tell us how that went?
Well, I wasn't there for it, but I can tell you he did have debate prep, and he has for the others as well. But he also loves to talk to the American people at these debates a little bit also off the cuff. So he's not in hiding and kind of sequestered in this heavy, intense debate prep the way Hillary Clinton's camp has her do. So he's actually very focused, but also going to engage on a direct, authentic level, not over-preparing either.
All right. AJ Delgado, Senior Trump Advisor, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Vlad.
Appreciate it.